Hello freaks, geeks, degenerates, basement dwellers, weirdos, and people I don't want to meet in real life. Welcome to Warzone, I'm Scruffy, and this is Scruffy Tales. And yes, the audio is what it is. I'm still out and about and not at home with my regular computer. What can you do? Anyway, in this video we will take a look at just how superior Swedish armor has proven itself to be down in Ukraine. The war has well and truly established Swedish armor as superior to anything found in the Russian arsenal. First out is the most recent addition to the Ukrainian army in the form of Swedish armor. It is the PBV 302 Pansarbandvagn 302, also known as Pebban in the Swedish army, designed as an IFV back in the 60s, turned out to be a formidable and excellent IFV of the day, taken into service a year or 2 years maybe ahead of the BMP-1, and it has turned out to be, in the modern day and age, incredible APC. It was designed to be able to survive RPGs and Carl Gustav hits back in the day, and was given quite capable armor, and was also designed to be able to traverse mud without any issue, or snow, or what have you. And the end result of that is quite clear in Ukraine. Ukraine has operated these for, I think it's 8 months, and in that time they have lost, confirmed, at least 16 PBVs out of 200, and that is a loss rate of 8% in 8 months, so roughly 2 vehicles per month. And these vehicles saw service in Kursk, mind you, while the Russians were pushing hard to force Ukraine out. So these vehicles have seen combat. They have been in a very tough combat zone up in Kursk. And as it says here, despite heavy frontline use, losses have been relatively low, around 8%, suggesting strong battlefield utility in troop transport and rear area operations. And yes, this vehicle was designed primarily back in the 60s to assault trenches. The intention was to drive up 2 trench lines with this vehicle and deploy troops straight into enemy positions. And all that armor is paying off in Ukraine quite clearly, and we also have video evidence of this. This video is, I think it's around a week old, maybe 2 weeks old now, where we will see a PBV taking on a whole host of Russian drones. Right, so we all have seen multiple videos of what happens when a single drone hits a Russian T-72 tank or BMP. You get a spectacular explosion followed by a turret toss, sending the turret into orbit, right? From a single drone. Now take a look what happens here when this PBV-302 is making a dash across this massive field. Let's take a look. So here we have, he's already 50, 100 meters out in the field, and this PBV is not alone. Let's see what happens here. Eventually he is actually hunted by 6 drones at the moment. And these guys, they are running the gauntlet. First hit, burning, but what's this? It did not detonate. No turret toss. Weird. Second drone hits again. Keeps on going. No turret toss. No spectacular detonation. Keeps going. I mean, he is well beyond halfway across at this point. Let's see what happens. Here we go. I mean, he is just flooring. Take a look at the size of the field here. Not for now. Here we go. And third hit. Third drone hits. Swerves off. Could be that the driver got confused after that hit and he's now gonna realign. I think the commander told him, dude, you're heading the wrong way. Changes direction, is heading for the intended objective across the field. We still got a bunch of drones flying around. And the fourth hit. And this is unfortunately the hit that seals the deal. But take a look how close they are. They were right here, right next. And what happens now is that the PBV comes to stop, and the Ukrainians begins to pile out, and then two more drones fly in, including this one that's been following it. And the Russians unfortunately finished the job, taking out the PBV and more than likely the people around the vehicle with these two drones that fly in and take it out. But as you saw, you needed 4 drones to put a stop to it. And even then, you could, in the footage, you will see Ukrainians pile out, and then you need 1 and 2 drones to fly in and take it out while it is stationary. And they were so close to reaching cover. So quite clearly, this old PBV is more than a match for Russian drones. You need to send in 4 to 6 drones to put a stop to this old, powerful beast of an APC. Next, we're moving on to Sweden's main battle tank, the STRV-122. That has become known as Ukraine's most aggressive tank. The Ukrainians have hailed this tank. They keep praising it mainly because of its excellent armor, and the Ukrainians have said themselves that this is a tank that they want to drive up close to enemy positions within 400 meters and open fire at point blank range, essentially. And they can do it thanks to the magnificent armor found on this tank. Sweden provided Ukraine with 10 in 2023, and so far it has been confirmed that 9 of those 10 have taken multiple hits, mines, anti-tank missiles, drones and what have you, and destroyed. Well, 1 has been confirmed destroyed, and I do believe 8, it is confirmed that 8 are still operational. As it says here, repairability. Most tanks have been repaired and returned to service thanks to robust design and battlefield recovery efforts. And the Ukrainians have said that the Swedish, this is a Leopard 2A5 essentially with Swedish upgrades, and the Ukrainians they say that those upgrades have assisted a lot in being able to repair and maintain the vehicle out in the field. The additional armor Sweden added to the tank, 3 tons of it, was applied mainly to the turret and the top armor, and that, as you can imagine, having additional top armor is essential and crucial in Ukraine with all the drones flying around. And the end result is quite telling, that out of 10 delivered and 9 confirmed hit, only 1 has been destroyed. And of course we need to compare the STRV-122 with some other tanks. We're going to start off with the Abrams, the M1A1 Abrams. The old version of the Abrams must be highlighted. This is not an M1A2, even though Sweden picked the Leopard 2A5, or the Leopard 2 Improved as it was called back then, in trials over the M1A2. Sweden found that the Leopard 2 Improved, that would become the Leopard 2A5, was a much more combat-ready tank than the M1A2 Abrams, and the Ukrainians are operating the M1A1 Abrams, and the statistics are telling. 10 of the 31 American Abrams have been destroyed, compared to 1 of the STRV-122s. And 4 to 5 of the Abrams remain operational on the battlefield, compared to 8 for the STRV-122. So not a fair comparison, since it is an old tank compared to a relatively new one with some really incredible armor attached to it. But I think it gets more interesting when you compare the STRV-122 to the Leopard 2A6. Now remember, the STRV-122 is essentially an upgraded 2A5, and here we're comparing it to the 2A6. Ukraine has been provided 21 2A6s, of which 7 have been confirmed destroyed, compared to 1 of the STRV-122s. And of the 21 in total, we're looking at 8 remaining in service, compared to 8 of the STRV-122. And if you're wondering, is this an indication that the Swedish tanks are not being used as much as the 2A6s? The STRV-122s and most of the Leopard 2A6s are used in the same unit, the 21st Mechanized Brigade. Basically Ukraine's most powerful armored unit, and I dare say the most powerful armored formation on the entire planet, combining these two tanks with some very powerful combat vehicles on top of that. So the 21st Mechanized took an active part in the Kursk incursion and saw a lot of heavy fighting, as both of these tanks were right on the front line, dishing it out to the Russians and taking some punishment in return, and the end result is 1 destroyed STRV-122 compared to 7 of the Leopard 2A6. Speaking of the 21st Mechanized, we are now moving on to the CV-90 infantry fighting vehicle, the world's most capable infantry fighting vehicle, namely the STRF 9040 Charlie, an upgraded 9040 with additional armor, some better electronics and targeting systems and what have you. But essentially, the STRF 9040 CV-90, it is the world's most capable infantry fighting vehicle. It has excellent armor, it can traverse basically any type of terrain, and the secret sauce in the mix is the 40mm Bofors autocannon that can fire 300 rounds per minute, can destroy anything it comes across on the battlefield, including T-72 tanks. If it gets a decent angle on the flanking armor of a T-72, this gun can punch through the armor of a tank. And Sweden delivered 50 to Ukraine, and as you can see here, visually confirmed losses include 9 destroyed, so just short of 20% destroyed. Then you have some damaged or abandoned, and unfortunately 3 captured. And that leaves us with around 30 still operational after 2 years of hard fighting, and around 40% loss rate all in all. But 9 out of the 50 destroyed, so just short of 20%. And we've compared the tanks, so we're now going to compare the CV-90 to the big boy in town, the Bradley, obviously. And like we've pointed out, both the Bradley and the CV-90, of course, took part in the Kursk incursion. They've seen extensive combat use along the entire front line. And as we can see here, Ukraine has received around 300 Bradleys in total and lost 162, including damaged, abandoned, captured, and destroyed. So we're looking at more than 50% loss rate here for the Bradleys compared to 40 for the CV90. And if we look at the confirmed losses, we have 9 destroyed CV90s, just short of 20%. And looking at the Bradley, we have 85 confirmed destroyed, and that is around 28-29%. So when we're looking at total losses, the CV90 has a better track record than the Bradley, and looking at destroyed vehicles, again a better track record with CV90 falling in at just short of 20%. Meanwhile, the Bradleys are up at 28-29%. So the CV90 is a beast of a vehicle. It is undoubtedly the best infantry fighting vehicle on the planet. It might see some competition from the Lynx, if the Lynx is ever brought into the war here in Ukraine. The Germans wants to push the Lynx into service. We'll see if that happens. But until that happens, I think it's safe to say that the STRF 9040 Charlie is without a doubt the best infantry fighting vehicle on the planet. And last but not least, we have the Archer self-propelled gun, artillery system 8, the king of artillery. And if you are king among artillery, and since artillery is king of war, then surely the Archer is also the master of the battlefield. Ukraine has received 8 Archers, confirmed destroyed 0, confirmed damaged 1. But as it says here, Ukraine has deployed 8 Archer SPGs with no irrecoverable losses recorded to date. 1 system sustained damage but was repairable and returned to service, underscoring the resilience of this advanced artillery platform. So 8 delivered, none of them destroyed, all 8 are still operating. The barrels were being worn out, but they will receive fresh barrels for them so that they can operate at full capacity. And Sweden is building 18 brand new Archers from scratch that will be delivered in early 2026, I believe. Let's say sometime during 2026, but I think it's the first half. So 18 more on top of the 8 already delivered. And these fall into the armored category since the entire vehicle is armored. No crew steps outside. Everyone sits in indoors and operates the gun from the safety of the armor. And the gun and the ammunition itself is protected by armor, and it has taken hits. We've seen the videos of drones flying in. But evidently the armor is held and no drones have caused any damage that managed to destroy the Archers. And the Archer is the king of artillery and the master of the battlefield, and we will take a look at a classic video clip detailing this, highlighting this, because even if the traditional Western shoot and scoot way of using artillery is not applicable to Ukraine due to all the drones, the Archer is still very much a credible artillery piece down in Ukraine. Now, down in Ukraine, because of all the drones, you can't really conduct, should we call it traditional shoot and scoot, where you open fire and then relocate quickly to another part of the battlefield to avoid counter battery. The drones hunt you down when you're on the move, so the Ukrainians have adopted a smaller shoot and scoot area of operations where you drive a couple of 100 meters out of cover, open fire, and then return to cover, where you hide the vehicle, and cover it up and hide it from the drones so that the drones can't hunt you down, and you're still somewhat safe from the counter battery fire. Now in that situation, you need to move fast, you need to open fire fast, and you need to get out of dodge fast as well, so that you can hide again. So being able to move fast and fire fast and be on the move again is super crucial with drones overhead. You can't stay in place for too long, you can't drive for too long, you can't set up the gun to fire for too long, and you can't wait for rounds to be fired, because then there's the risk of a drone flying. So we're going to take a look at this classic video of the Archer. Imagine this is Ukraine. It has left the hiding position, driven for 500 meters, and now it sets up, getting ready to open fire at Russian positions. Take a look. Imagine you need to be fast and operate fast to avoid drones. We are now 23 seconds in, and there you have it, first round fired. Basically 9 seconds after being into action, as it says, and then you have another round fired, third round at 40 seconds. So in less than 20 seconds you have 3 rounds fired. So imagine you want to move fast in and out of cover, get those rounds fired, and then get out of dodge and hide again to avoid the drones. Then obviously you need the Archer. Now the gun is back in, and in just a few short seconds we will be on the move again. A Caesar, the French equivalent, needs 45 seconds to fire its first round. For reference, 45 seconds to open fire its first round, and here we have it. The Archer is on the way, having fired 3 rounds, and can now return back to the hiding position if this was down in Ukraine, to avoid all the drones overhead. An incredible machine, to say the least. And there you have it. What else can you say? The Swedish APC is superior to anything in the Russian arsenal. The Swedish tank is superior to anything in the Russian arsenal. The Swedish combat vehicle, I mean, it is out of this world. It is basically alien technology compared to what the Russians have. And then you have the Archer, a self-propelled gun that is beyond superior to anything the Russians are using. And all of this is, of course, providing Ukraine with a massive advantage. The only issue is they don't have enough of it. They need 200 CV-90s. They need 100 SW-122s. They need 50 Archers, right? And I mean, what Europe should be doing is setting up massive production lines to just build all of this and just spit it out and get it shipped over to Ukraine. What a difference that would have made. Because Swedish quality, I mean, yes, it is superior, but you need the quantity as well. You really do need quantity. Quality has, gets you only so far. Europe really needs to help Sweden build as much of this as possible and ship it over to Ukraine. Anyway, that's all I have for you this time around. I hope you found it interesting. As always, go på marsch, Ukraine, and give them hell.